Hey there, brew tubers. It's time for bulk bin fever. I went to the natural food market and filled up a bunch of bags. I'm going to put all these different grains in a beer, plus 3 more that I already had. Right here we got Spelt, wild rice, Amaranth, I'm not even sure what that is, Quinoa, Emmer, Rye, and Buckwheat. Plus we're going to do Flaked Oats, barley of course, malted barley, and malted wheat, and rice hulls, but I'm not going to count that one, which makes a total of 10 grains. We're going to have a 10 grain beer. Going to have to do a little more complicated mashing. I'm going to do just a bit of the malted grains and then all of these in a cooker to get them nice and gelatinized and be able to do a Glucan rest. And then we're going to combine that with the rest of the malted barley in a big infusion to make sure that we get all the starchy goodness out of all these grains. So this is the Emmer, the rye, and the wild rice and the buckwheat all measured out. Those are going to go through the mill. There's also some base malt in there, 3 pounds of base malt that will go in the pot to cook all the cereals in. Then I also have my flake grains, which won't go through the mill. This is Flaked Spelt and Flaked Oats. And then this is my Amaranth and my Quinoa. So those aren't going through the mill, so I have them separate right now. And this is pretty hard stuff in here, so hopefully my mill can deal with it. We'll see. Fingers crossed. No problem. Alright, so this is my glucanase rest. Essentially just with hot tap water that I've treated for chlorine. I didn't need to heat it at all, so we are at about 106, 107 degrees, which is fine for glucanase. Reason you have to do this with this much unmalted grain is because all the stuff, the glutens and the proteins that make it great for baking bread with, make it terrible for doing a mash with. So got to get those broken down before we get it up to higher temps. Okay, now doing my protein rest, and then I'll get on by that into my amylase rests. I'm essentially going to kind of do this like 2 mashes and then combine them. So this mash, get it up to 155 as my final temp. And then I'm going to combine it into the remainder of my malted grains, my malted wheat and barley and specialty grains, and basically just dough in on that one at 155, and then combine these two and let it sit for another hour just to make sure I get everything all nice and converted. Doughing in now on all the malted grains. This is Gambrinus ESB Malt, malted white wheat, some Special B, some Carapils, and some chocolate. So there's a big old complicated malt bill in this beer. Alright, I got the 2 mashes combined, and I'm now stirring in some rice hulls, which are definitely going to be needed to get this thing to lauter properly when I sparge. There's the first runnings. They seem to be coming out pretty smoothly, which is a good sign. I was really afraid of a stuck mash on this one. Almost to a boil. Alright, I'm at a boil now. I'm going to boil for about 2 hours. I might have to adjust depending on where my gravity's at, but this is a big beer, so with a bigger beer your efficiency suffers, and one way to compensate for that is to sparge with more water and then boil longer. So that's what I'm doing to extract all that goodness out of the mash and get it at the gravity I want. So I'm not going to add my hops until I am ready to start the 90-minute countdown. Hop schedule today is pretty simple. 1.5 ounces of Belma for bittering. That should get it up to about 70 IBUs. And 1 ounce of Columbus at 15 minutes for flavor. Alright, I've reached the gravity I want to, so here goes the 90-minute edition. 1.5 ounces of Belma. Alright, we're ready for our 15-minute edition. You can see how much is boiled off there. There it goes, that's 1 ounce of Columbus. Alright, now we're chilling. There it goes. Not sure what to call this one. Stout, strong ale, not sure. Who cares? And for this one I'm going to use BRY 97 Chico yeast, which I hear is used in a pretty good barley wine. Cheers!